You have clicked the Pixel Record podcast, programmed by KanOfSoda. Sit back, chillax, and enjoy the show.
Hello guys, welcome to the Pixel Record podcast, episode I don't know what this is, and I'm with a guest star.
Hi, I'm Ashley, aka Random Fangirl, #01.
That's a pretty lame name, not gonna lie, no offense.
I know, I should change it, but you know.
So I remember we were talking about podcasts on Tuesday, and I remember you saying that you wanted to talk about the Armenian genocide since it's really underrated, no one really talks about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you tell me what you know about it? I hardly know anything. All I know is that it was a genocide, it killed people.
Yeah, I still don't know that much about it, but like the basics are that I guess Turkey had a disagreement with Armenia, as if you want to call it that, and then they killed off half the population, which was 1.5. That was how much they killed off, 1.5 million of them.
I love how you said
crazy.
I love how you said half the population. It made me think of Thanos.
If that's how you want to think about it, then yeah. I don't know, it was just overkill, because I know countries go to war and stuff, but killing off half of the population is pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah. You know they did concentration camps or something like that, like the Holocaust?
I don't think they did, but I wouldn't know. I just know that a lot of them died.
That's all you know?
Yeah. I know it was Turkey, and then somehow they're able to say that it never happened. I don't really know how that works, but they do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's as crazy as people saying that the Holocaust was fake. I don't know why people still believe that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there are tons of evidence out there, and even Holocaust survivors are still alive today. I know some of them wrote books about their experiences with the concentration camps.
Exactly.
I know there's this one Holocaust survivor, he wrote a book called Night. It was basically his experience in the concentration camp. We had to read it at school. It was actually pretty...
Yeah, I think I read that too.
Any other historical facts you think of?
Well, I guess it's like background. I'm half Armenian myself, but I wasn't really raised with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
You're mostly American.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
My dad, you know, he cares, and then sometimes he'll be like telling me stuff about it, and then one day he was like, yeah, this happened. I never learned about it in school. I had to learn just because my dad cares.
I never really learned it either. The only time it was mentioned was it was in like 11th grade US history. We had a student teacher that day. I mean, during that semester, you know, the spring semester in school. Mm-hmm. And the only time the Armenian genocide was mentioned was, alright, the Armenian genocide was horrible. Now, here's some extra credit. You can write an essay about the Armenian genocide, and then you'll get extra credit. That's it. That was the only time it was mentioned while I was in school.
Yeah, it's just pretty wild that people just don't talk about it, and then, I don't know. I'm sure Turkey likes it that way, but...
Yeah. It's really great that people talk about the Holocaust, but honestly, there are a lot of other genocides that happened during history and that we need to talk about.
I agree, and it's like, you don't want to discredit anybody, but like, you could talk about more than just one of them.
Okay, so I always watch a lot of Reddit videos. Some of them are Ask Reddit, some of them are Ask Me Anything. And there was this one Reddit user who hosted a Ask Me Anything part where he's basically the son of a Nazi sympathizer, and his grandfather, or maybe great-grandfather, was a Nazi during World War II.
What did they talk about in the Reddit post?
So basically, he first mentioned his life story. He basically was raised by a Nazi sympathizer father. Growing up, he was always told that the Nazis are superior to Jews, blacks, gays, all that kind of stuff. But then when he was like around 11 or 12, he found out about the Holocaust on the internet and he realized how bad it was. So he became his own self. He even encouraged his brothers to break away from the Nazi thoughts. It's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty hard to break away from something like that if you were raised. Also, what's pretty crazy is that his father is actually really horrible. He was a straight up born racist.
That's wild.
Wow, that's all you said. I said all that.
No, I was about to say, yeah, but then if I would say that, then you'd be like, wow, I can't win.
I also remember I was watching a Campcast episode, and Nabber, he talked about how you can go to Russia and you can see Vladimir Lenin's body.
Do you know you can actually go see Lenin's body? Like,
Yeah.
it's an actual body.
Is that what
In
you're
the
gonna
Red
do?
Square.
No, I'm going to.
Lenin's mausoleum.
Trust you to know that.
Absolutely.
Mausoleum, that's a lovely one.
You know, Stalin originally was in the mausoleum, but his body was removed.
Why? Because he killed 26 million people.
Exactly. After Khrushchev called him out.
Wait, somebody called him out after he
Called him
died.
out
Yeah.
and said, Stalin, murderer, hypocrite, manipulator.
How do you call him out? It's like walking down the street in Berlin. Oi, Adolf! Maybe dead.
I actually know about this. This is quite interesting.
Well, go on
so
then.
I'm going to make this a really
This
boring
is history
podcast.
hour at the camp. You're going to get your history
But-
badges today, everyone.
Before Lenin died in 1924, he wrote a testament
Yeah,
about Stalin.
Yeah, I know that.
And Khrushchev read it out, I
warned-
think, in 63.
He warned about Stalin, and he did not advise him whatsoever. Despite being good friends originally, Stalin went off the rails.
He did.
Sounds like the commentary community.
It's like Kavos.
What, just like out?
I'm not sure. I remember that's all he said. I'm pretty surprised that his body would still be there. I would have figured it would probably kind of decompose right now at this time.
When did he die?
I don't remember. Probably the 1920s. You're gonna have to look that up.
Oh, yeah, that is a long time ago. Because if it was like maybe in the past 50 years, maybe it wouldn't be fully decomposed. But yeah, it's kind of sus.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick.
Alright.
Vladimir Lenin. Now we got Vladimir Putin. I used to think his name was pronounced Putin.
I mean, if you don't hear it, then you probably just assume.
Yeah,
so.
true. Anyway. Yeah, he died in 1924.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how his body wouldn't just be completely gone.
Yeah, because it's been almost 100 years since 1924. Yeah, we're in 2019. We're about to go into the 20s very soon.
Isn't that crazy too? Because it doesn't feel like that.
Honestly, same. And it's pretty crazy how I was born 2001. 100 years ago from 2001 was 1901. And that was before they created that movie where a bunch of astronauts went to the moon. Do you know about that?
The movie?
Yeah. There's this movie, silent film obviously, made in 1902, where a bunch of astronauts landed on the moon and they started exploring around. It's actually pretty cool, considering the time period.
What's it called?
Oh, I forgot, but let me look it up.
Alright.
It's called A Trip to the Moon, and yes, it was released in 1902.
It's interesting that they made that prior to probably any progress towards going towards space.
Yeah, I wonder if people have seen that at the time, and then they lived to see the actual moon landing in 1969.
I'm sure it had to have happened to some people.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what's really crazy is that everyone who worked on that film is now dead, because if it was created in 1902, then everyone who worked on it was born prior to the 20th century, and everyone born in the 19th century is now dead. Another interesting fact about that is the last person born in the 19th century actually died a few years ago in 2017.
Wow, why do you know all of these random facts?
I don't know, I just go on the internet. Do you ever... I don't...
Yeah, but I don't mind those kind of things.
Because you're lame, all you do is listen to I Write Sins Not Tragedies by My Chemical Bromance.
First of all, you need to stop saying that. MCR is back now. You need to...
Yeah, I'm aware that MCR is back.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know, I never really listened to their music. I just know they exist. And then they disbanded for a couple of years and they came back magically.
Yeah.
Have you
Still can't believe they're back, but
have you heard about the Mongols?
yes, I think.
I remember one time I was watching this video of the history of the world, but with a map setting. It's like how the map of the world changed over time. And I remember there was this one part where the Mongols literally conquered the entire continent of Asia, and it was sometime
Yeah.
around ancient times, obviously. And I was like, it's super impressive for that time, considering the time period. It seems impossible by today's standards.
Of course.
Yeah,
Everyone in the old days was wilding and trying to build their empire.
yeah, it's pretty hard to believe that these guys accomplished far more land in Nazi Germany and the Japanese during World War II.
Have you seen that map that shows every country or area that's ever been like colonized by Britain? Because that was pretty crazy.
No.
Or maybe not colonized, but at least like had British people there. I don't know. It was really crazy because there were only a few spots on the map where they never went. I don't know. They'd be moving.
Haven't seen it, but all I know is that I just know they conquered India, and that's it. I know they obviously they conquered other places, probably somewhere in Africa, along with some other European conquerors. Yeah, obviously they don't really care about the people living there because they're white.
You're not wrong.
And coming up is Thanksgiving at the time we're recording this, aka Stealing from the Natives Day.
Wow, we always love celebrating stealing from the natives.
Also that day, it was Columbus Day, aka Stealing from the Natives, which is also it's Stealing from Natives 1.0. Thanksgiving Day is Stealing from Natives 2.0.
Yeah, and then Columbus Day is also give the natives diseases they against it. That too. Love that.
Speaking about disease and stuff, I was watching a video where Mimilis and I'm Alex were watching a video about Annoying Orange and the cursed live action thing they made. And there was one video where it went like, Annoying Orange gets the plague.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine dying from a really horrible disease and then around 700 years later, a bunch of fruits are making fun of it?
Actually, I heard like 2 people in China died because of the Black Plague.
The Black Plague?
Yeah, they died. People, like recently too.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're talking about the bubonic plague, obviously, not the Black Death. The Black Death is what happened in 1300.
Know that they're the same thing, right?
What do you mean?
The Black Death and the bubonic plague are the same thing.
No, well, they sort of are. The Black Death is the event plague that we all know about. The bubonic plague is the disease that caused the Black Death. That's the difference.
Well, you know what I mean. It's the same.
Yeah. I mean, they're completely separate words, you dingus.
Well, you know what I mean. 2 people in China got the Black Death plague.
Although, now they talk about it, I do remember hearing about that recently. I think I have.
Yep. And then I just see 3rd case of plague linked to Black Death found in China after hunter eats wild rabbit. What the fuck is going on in China?
Anything, considering the pollution and stuff going on, it could be possible. Anything's possible, probably.
That's true, but it's like, shouldn't everyone have like the vaccine for it?
I'm not sure. I'm not really that familiar with the stuff in modern China. It's really crazy that China is pretty much the longest lasting nation in history. I mean, you got the Mongols taking them over, but no one really talks about this much, and we just talked about it just now.
Yeah. Oh, I have a random fact for you.
Yeah.
Did you know that somewhere in the US they tried to make like a replica of the Wall of China, but then it failed?
What? I'm not. Where was this?
I forgot where it was. I was learning about it in my class. It was because
it was on the South Texas border. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think it was there, but it's like we were talking about how sometimes representatives like get money for industries to go like do stuff with it that they shouldn't really like allow them to do. So they tried to make that replica, and it did not work out. It was really sad.
Yeah, because we're white, and as the stereotype says, Asians are smart.
as the stereotype says.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it says it was in Florida.
Of course it was in Florida.
Maybe. I have no idea, actually. But
Florida man gets arrested.
Florida man be wildin'.
Another interesting fact, it's something my friend told me. Apparently, Abraham Lincoln wasn't friendly to Native Americans.
I'm not surprised, actually.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I've had teachers say basically, well, maybe not Lincoln like himself, but a lot of older presidents and stuff never really cared that much about those kind of issues, but then they would use it politically. Like, Lincoln never talked about abolition until, like, I think the 2nd year of the war, and it was probably just like, well, this war is happening, we need to rally them, this is a good cause. It was probably exactly what it was, but he never really cared that much about it, probably.
I'm honestly not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's slavery, so it's different than the natives, but I mean, they had
Yeah.
similar opinions about those people.
I don't know why, but only this year have I found out. So during my entire life, you know, in school, probably all of us have learned this in school, that Abraham Lincoln will free the slaves. Yay! He loves all blacks. Freedom. But in this year in US history, it was actually strange. So Lincoln just wanted to free the slaves in the South, but only for another reason, not because he felt sympathy for blacks or something like that. I don't know.
His goal was to preserve the Union, so slavery became the issue, even though it was just about getting the South back into the Union.
Yeah, he just wanted to keep the US together, as you said, because
Yeah.
slaves were a really big economic thing that's been splitting the US apart.
The South were like, yo, we need this, and we won't take this anymore. And then they yeeted out of the country. Lincoln got elected. They're like, we're not standing for this.
We didn't start this bullshit, but we aren't gonna. Well, they did start this bullshit because they,
did,
because they chose to bring in the slaves over because they missed the rains down in Africa.
Honestly, the civil rights movement, for I guess the beginning of it was kind of weird because there was like the first group that actually believed in like abolitionism. They wanted to send them back to Africa, and then it's like
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know.
the first organized group for it, I think it was. They wanted to send them back to Africa, and that just didn't work out because like most of the slaves never even came from Africa or never lived there and shit, so
Yeah, they've been accustomed to America.
yeah. So that didn't work out, but I think it's kind of weird.
It
that
probably would have been
they-
impossible anyway.
Yeah, would have been hard to do it.
Oh yeah, there's another thing. Oh, okay, I remember what I was about to say. So, civil rights has actually been a thing since the beginning of this country. Yeah, no one really talked about it since people mostly focus on the whiteys. It became more of a... The reason why it became a more big thing in 1950s was because of the invention of media, television, more news, and all that stuff.
I could see that because prior to that, they also probably didn't talk as much with each other because there were ways to communicate, but I don't think it was really widespread until around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also remember there was this one civil rights scene where a group of college students, half of them were white, the other half were black. They decided to go around the country in some kind of train or bus together because they want to protest against the separate but equal stuff. But somewhere along the way, I think some supremacists tried to burn down the bus. Luckily, all the kids survived. Did you hear about that?
We've gotta ruin stuff for us, honestly. Burning down a bus, just why?
Because people were racist back then, obviously.
Well, yeah, but it's like, I don't know, I can't imagine myself being like that annoyed by somebody that I'm just gonna go burn down a bus, you know?
But then again, I guess people were just raised to be like that.
That's true.
Yeah, and you also have no common sense because we're America.
And we're wild and all the time.
We elected literally an annoying orange into the White House, who's more annoying than the actual annoying orange.
Could you imagine if he talked like the annoying orange?
Oh no. Hello, we will. Can you try talking like the annoying orange? I tried to just now, but I couldn't.
I'm not gonna try that one. I'm about to tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're too dingified to do that.
If that's what you want to call it, sure.
Anything else? Oh yeah, I would also like to say, I don't know why, but I always noticed that I hardly learn anything in the post-World War II era. I mean, I kind of do, but we don't really go over as much.
Post-World War II?
Yeah, I know we've gone over a bit about the Red Scare, the Cold War, and stuff like that, but not really much. We don't really talk much. Oh yeah, we did talk a bit about the Korean War.
Yeah, that one was called "We Don't Know How to Mind Our Business."
Yeah.
So
therefore, I don't know that much about the Nixon, JFK, Afghanistan, Iraq wars, that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard about the Watergate scandal with Nixon. That was pretty wild.
I know my dad told me about it once. I forgot what happened, though. Do you remember?
Basically, I think Nixon was just... I think it was something about weapons. And, like, I don't know. Obviously, he was doing something he shouldn't have. was either with like giving weapons to, I'm not sure who they were giving them to, but he got caught with something like that, and then he was about to get impeached.
But
then
he was
like, "Yo, I'm gonna resign instead," and yeah.
Oh no, said Nixon. I am scared that I'll get impeached. I'm just gonna resign instead because I'm afraid.
Well, I think it's also in a way a power move because you're not giving them the power to do anything about it.
I mean, I don't blame him. He probably got packed. He probably packed and said, "Oops," and then whoop, resign.
Yeah. How does Nixon fit in Peach?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Don't now Trump into Peach? Peach small, Trump big. How can Trump impeach?
Well, Nixon didn't fit in Peach, so he just resigned.
I think Bill Clinton got impeached, right? Because he shagged some young woman.
I don't know if that fully went through.
I know in his first trial, he lied about it, but in the second time, he said, "Alright guys, I give up, I actually did do it."
Okay, yeah, he was impeached completely. I think he was the only one that was completely impeached.
I wonder if Trump's gonna get impeached. I really hope so.
I don't know. I think they're still working that out right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I kind of wonder why now they decide to do it since next year is the actual president election. Probably because I think one time he said before they didn't have enough evidence because you gotta have enough evidence in order to impeach a president.
That's true.
But then again, the public can already see that he's done some dumbass shit in public.
Well, the thing is, you're probably... I'm not sure if you're allowed to run again for presidency if you get impeached, but I'm sure if you did, then people wouldn't take you seriously.
I totally doubt it. I don't think we ever had a scenario like that.
Well, yeah, but are you technically allowed to, is what I'm running.
I wonder... I'm pretty sure they have that scenario written down. In the law, because they created some backups for in case the president and vice president both die. They have succeeders somewhere in the government.
Yeah, I found something. It says that the answers for that is kind of complicated because it's kind of an unprecedented situation. And then they also showed this tweet from Trump that says presidential harassment.
Presidential harassment! Can't say I'm surprised.
And he said that September 24th of this year.
This is presidential harassment. How dare you? Bram, 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 bram. Say Greta Thunberg.
Presidential harassment, am I right?
I did not know that was a phrase until just now. That's my new favorite phrase.
I'm sure he invented that. But...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
So what's to talk about next?
I don't know. Some of my favorite topics are the world wars. I don't know why.
Yeah. You like talking about the battles or like afterwards? Or
I guess, I don't know. Oh, let's talk about the Roaring 20s.
Okay.
So, there was a whole lot going on. I know that was the time radios were invented. They were originally used during World War I by soldiers so they can kind of communicate because that was when it was invented. And then it eventually became a form of entertainment where people created talk shows, drama shows. It's basically where podcasts originated from.
Yeah, and then basically everything was great for about, well, I guess 9 years because the Great Depression hit in the 1929, so...
I do realize that there were some movies still coming out during the 30s along with songs. I'm to be honest, I was pretty surprised that some movies were coming up at that time considering the corrupt economy at that time.
I'm sure maybe, like, it was for morale purposes, because if I were stuck in a Great Depression, like that one, because I know there was, like, a recession, but being in a depression sucks, and I would probably hate my life if I was in that, too, so they probably wanted to make movies to help people stay happy, I guess you could say.
But I seriously wonder how they got the money, because you gotta have a lot of money to create a movie, but I'm not sure the movie budget at the time.
That, and I think even though the whole nation was going through economic struggles, I think there could still be, like, the really rich people still being rich.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sure they could have done it.
And the rich people like, oh, you're poor? Well, that sucks. I don't care. I'm gonna go drop my new merch and it's selling like a god church. I'm sure if another depression happened again, I'm pretty sure Jake Paul would go like, alright guys, here's some new merch. Or maybe some LA YouTubers would go like that.
Actually, I could see him using his shirts as toilet paper.
But
you know, he can't sell them. You gotta use them somehow.
if you noticed, okay, so my great-grandma grew up during the Great Depression. I know my dad told me that she lived all the way up in the Pacific Northwest because that's where my dad's family comes from. It was a whole lot worse in the cities because, you know, that's where most of the money comes and flows through. And it wasn't that bad in the Northwest. It was still pretty bad, but not as awful as the cities. So she was still struggling, just not as awful as the people in the Hoovervilles and all that, you know?
Yeah, it probably varied depending on where you are in the nation, because
Yeah.
we're all probably struggling, but some were struggling more.
The 2008 recession is actually the reason why I moved states. I used to live in Michigan, but I moved to North Carolina because it was actually around late 2008. And that was around the time the Great Recession happened. So I realized that a few years ago, and I was like, whoa, this is no coincidence. So I asked my dad about it, and he said yes, that the recession is the reason why. I guess I didn't know because I was too young to remember.
Makes sense. Mine always just moved because of job purposes. I can't tell if around that time we moved. I don't know. Some of the years are kind of fuzzy in my head.
Oh yeah, I know you said that no one talks about the Armenian genocide. Wait, I forgot. When did that happen? Let me search it up.
I know it was before the Holocaust.
Oh yeah,
but-
it went from 1914 to 1923. So I knew,
It's a long time.
yeah, 100 years ago. I also noticed that 100 years ago there's also a plague, but no one really talks about that.
Oh, it says attack types deportation. Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, I love how you laughed, even though
No,
half of
because
your-
I'm thinking about how because of this event that they all kind of moved all over the place.
yeah, because they were trying to escape. I think you said the reason why was disagreement.
Why they moved?
No, why the genocide happened.
Well, I wouldn't know that for sure. It says, okay, the motive is anti-Armenian sentiment and Turkification. I don't really know what Turkification is. Oh, okay, I understand.
Turkification. Yeah. I was thinking of Turkey.
Yeah, it's basically Ottoman Empire wants other places around them to become like the Ottoman Empire, is what I am understanding.
Oh yeah, they want to conquer places, but the Armenians were like, hell no. And like, the Ottoman Empire were like, alright, kill, 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 kill.
Yeah, and then it also says one of the reasons was anti-Armenian sentiment, so... Ooh.
Anything else?
About the genocide?
Or anything else in history?
Do you have another topic for us to move on to, or...?
Ridiculed. Oh yeah, the Russians, maybe. The Soviets, around the time World War I happened, which is also when the Russian Revolution happened. At that time, Russians were still extremely old-fashioned with medieval ways, kings and queens, siblings getting into anime betrayals over the throne, stuff like that. But then,
Yeah.
I think it was Vladimir Lenin or maybe someone, or maybe a Russian guy who was like, alright, we have had enough. Decides to put communism into the government. And then bam, the Soviet Union.
Oh yeah, I think it was Lenin who started it, and then Stalin continued it, basically.
Yeah. What I learned in class is the point of communism is because you got big governments, right? And you don't want them oppressing the workers because some workers barely get paid enough to support their families and all that. So the communist decides, we don't want governments, let's take them down so it can be free to do whatever the heck we want. To other very small, not going well countries, it's actually pretty good but also manipulative way to try and better your country.
That's true. And then the thing about communism is it's not sustainable for like the long run. And that's the issue with it.
Yeah, that's why it's called our, us, with the us pronouns, like in the memes. In Russia, Minecraft is called our craft.
They all just mine and craft, and they're like, okay, you got 15 iron? Well, 7 of that's mine, 7 of that's yours, and 1 of it gets burned in the fire. Otherwise it wouldn't be equal.
I know they tried to do something like that in China around like the 1970s or 80s. They call it the Great Leap Forward, but it failed. So that's an ironic name, right?
Of course.
It was a great leap backward. I wonder, am I the only one who used to mistake Teddy and FDR when I was younger?
I think I did too, but then I don't know.
Eventually, I found out the difference.
Yeah, eventually, but I don't know. I think it's just because if they have similar names, you automatically.
Yeah, they were related. I think I remember reading one time, Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor, I think they were cousins.
I don't know for sure.
I do remember either you or one of your friends said that Eleanor Roosevelt was probably a lesbian.
Oh, I think that was me who said that.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was you.
I don't remember where I read that, but
I do remember that was probably you who said Dr. Seuss cheated on his wife and then his wife committed suicide.
that's 100% factual.
That's honestly really crazy because we all know Dr. Seuss as the guy who writes children's books. Innocent little children's books.
Of course. And then you realize that he might not have been the best guy. I found this out, I don't know exactly how I found this out, but you can find her, like, suicide note online, and it was really crazy and messed up. I was like, oh. I felt some type of way about it when I heard it, and that's why I still remember it. Because I don't know. She was, like, dying of cancer, too.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I think she was, and then, I don't know, the whole situation was just sad, because he was being a ding-dong, basically.
A ding-dong.
I don't know how else to describe it.
I mean, you always say ding-dong, so I can't say I'm surprised.
True.
Also, I remember a few months ago, I read this news, and the news was talking about how a diary written by a Jewish person, it was pretty much the equivalent to Anne Frank, except I think she was German, but she was still Jewish. The girl's sibling and the sibling's daughter found out about it, but couldn't read it because it was too emotional, so they decided to publish it.
Of course, they always publish it. Actually, when they publish things like that, it still gets censored, because I've heard that part of Anne Frank's diary was censored, which I can understand, because it was, like, probably privacy reasons, but...
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't want, like, a diary of mine to end up being, like, a historical piece of evidence.
The first thing is in history, actually.
No, they'll be like, well, what if I wrote... Today was an interesting day. I saw a funny meme today. Lol. And they just published that.
I mean, that'll be a good way for people in the future to find out how what life was like back then. Yeah, interesting way. Kids calling each other ding-dongs. And kids making fun and kids making fun of tragedies like the Holocaust.
I write like a rant about one of my friends. This person is not Gucci.
And then future stories are like, Gucci used to be a slang term, refers to this, and then describes it. And if we looked in the future and saw them doing it, we were like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be explaining the joke. Explaining the joke makes it look awful.
That's the tea.
Yes, that is correct.
Can't wait for memes to be, like, historical.
That will be a crazy thing to think about.
Oh, could you imagine, like, you've already passed away, but then one of your memes ends up in, like, an history type, and you have, like, no way of knowing it? Like,
What if there's a meme museum? This historical figure named Grande, he was a professional memer. Imagine if there's an entire historical museum about the YouTubers. They could be talking about Mr. Beast, or maybe one about PewDiePie. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but we'll probably be old or dead by then. Or I don't know what YouTube will be like in like 70 or 60 years from now. Probably
I feel like it'll suck. Like, worse than it does now.
Oh yeah, it's going downhill. Don't know how, but that's what everyone's saying, so I'll just...
Well, the worst part, I think, is that YouTube's not really easy to get in contact with, and they're not gonna listen to what we want, basically.
Maybe they should just hire new, better, experienced people.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really know all of the issues either.
I did notice that YouTube wasn't really doing their job well. Like when the Logan Paul thing happened, it really should have been taken down as soon as posted. But nope. Let's go number 1 on trending.
Let's end up on trending because I want my merch to sell like a god church.
Oh my gosh, imagine how the future generation will think of Logan Paul. Will they praise him like a god? Will they say, oh my gosh, will he be a controversial subject?
I'm assuming he'll be controversial like he is now.
Yeah, like, I know I read some comments under videos about the Logan Paul dead body thing, and there are some people who used to be Logan Paul fans, but after what he did, they decided, nope, I'm not gonna be associated with this guy anymore, and I'm subscribed to him. I know people lost friendships because of this.
I mean, I'm sure. I think controversial subjects just kind of change how you possibly feel about, like, even friends, because there's this epic rap battle, and it was about Clinton versus Trump, because, you know, they make ones for elections, and then there was this line about how people who support the other candidate would, like, block each other on Facebook.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I can understand that, because some people are very...
Over dramatic? They're over dramatic.
Well, yeah, that, and then they're like, if you support so-and-so, you're an evil person or something, you know?
I feel like that's something people over the age of 30 would say. Well, most people, not everyone.
Yeah, somebody over the age of 30.
Honestly, it's pretty crazy how all these grown-ass people, especially the boomers, they get over dramatic over millennials and Gen Zs.
Of course they did.
Like, remember what? Like I remember Memeless tweeted out, "Why are a bunch of old people mad at the girl for not wanting the world to end?" Cause you know Greta Thunberg, the little girl.
Yeah. She's doing a great thing.
Yeah, she just doesn't want the world to end. I remember me and my friend were talking about it, and she said, and my friend, her name's Irene, her mom said, I don't have to worry about it because I'll be dead by then."
Everyone's gonna be old.
I guess, according to millennials and Gen Zs, the boomers are probably just jealous that the younger kids are doing a lot more in a few years than they've done in 60 years.
Well, the thing was, in a way, the boomers kind of ruined everything, even if they didn't mean to.
Yeah, because, like, we're not the ones who ruined the economy. We're not the ones who voted in an awful president. I'm pretty sure the election was rigged anyway, because I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I mean, weren't they trying to do, like, a recount, like, several times or something?
Not sure about that. Okay, my dad's actually born in the little boomer time period, and he actually doesn't mind the boomer jokes, and he told me that the reason why... Okay, so you know how boomers always say that we're lazy?
Yes.
That's because back then in the 60s, it was super easy to go to college, simply get a job, pay your tuition, get out, and move on with your life. It was so simple back then, but now it's very complicated. You know, back then, kids would move out of their parents' house right when they turn 18 and move on with their life, but nowadays, there are more 18-year-olds that have to stay with their parents for financial reasons because of how inflated the economy is becoming during these past decades.
That's true. I saw this boomer tweet about how they got a job while in college. It would be enough to pay their student loans.
Oh, no, that...
Yeah.
I
Because
wish...
that's how it was for boomers. It's just not the same now.
It's the boomers who are lazy. They got everything easier, and for us, it's a whole lot more complex.
Of course.
Is it because we make so much money off video games or something? Because I know I saw this news about this one kid who won like $1 million for playing Fortnite, and the boomers were pretty pissed about it.
I mean, boomers are just negative to be negative most of the time. And then they wouldn't see a career, well, I'm sure that wasn't a career, more just like a tournament, but being like a professional, I don't know, gamer, they wouldn't see that as,
as productive?
Yeah, that would be it. Like, they don't see it as highly as they would see other important careers, like, I don't know, being a CEO of a company or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw this one meme. It was when, where Tony Stark was like, if you're not thinking about the suit, you shouldn't have it. And Peter Parker said, okay, boomer.
I saw that too.
Yeah, technically Captain America is a boomer. Well, actually, he was born before the time boomers were born. He's born 100 years ago, so he's older than the boomer. I know boomers were born between 1946 and 1964, according to the internet.
He's more boomer.
Huh?
More boomer. He's like mega boomer then.
Yes. If you think about it, the people born before the boomer age are actually a whole lot more better than the actual boomers, because if you think about it, they lived during the Great Depression, and their poverty pretty much inspired them to become better and actually do something with their lives and getting their shit together.
Yeah, and their kids just suck.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because they're pretty much given all the opportunities because they were all born post World War II.
What ding dongs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you notice, the boomers always go like, oh man, I do miss the good old days. Well, if you think about it, the old days were not actually good because back then there was racism, homophobia, sexism, transphobia, which is why us millennials and Gen Zs don't want to live back in the day.
Yeah, and they're just not as accepting as we are now, I'd say.
But at the same time, I kind of get why they like the old days because back then people were a lot more interactive and social with each other. They always say that now we're on our phones and barely talk to each other in real life.
While that could be true, I think they kind of don't realize that social media in general is just another way to talk to people you can't see in real life.
Yeah.
Because even with family, because I have family that's like in California and then the other side's in like Illinois, so I can't really see them all the time. But with social media, I could keep up with them if I wanted to.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Although at the same time, I do prefer to talk with people face to face.
Me too, but it's just sometimes you can't really do it.
Yeah, it's better for me that way, but if they're pretty much long distance people, I just do the best I can.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Would you like to go back further in history?
How far do you need?
Hold on a second. Speaking about going back in history, did you tell me that people thought your teacher had a time travel machine or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me the whole story on all that?
Okay, so my friend, I won't disclose her name, but basically, like me, she's like a conspiracy theorist, and she came to me and she said, I think our history teacher, is a time traveler and he's stuck. And then I was like here for it immediately, and we kind of expanded the theory because the thing about our school was that we had a basement, but nobody knew what was really down there. So my friend and I were like, that's where his time machine is, and it's broken down there. And then we also said that the science teacher at our school was trying to help him fix it and stuff. I don't know.
Has anyone actually gone to the basement before, or are they too scared of a pussy to do that?
No, I mean, I don't think students are supposed to, and I'm sure teachers have, but I don't think they ever really tell us what's down there. So as far as I know, there could be a time machine.
Sometimes I wish my school had some secret stuff for basements, but it's too new for that. And schools with basements would have to be built before or during the Cold War. And my school was built in 2002, so RIP.
Our school building was built like around 1920, I think.
Oh, dang. I guess I can see why it has a basement, because schools with basements will be there because, it will be bomb shelters during the wars. Well,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, mostly during the Cold War, even though it stayed cold and didn't go high.
Yeah, the school was considered historical, so our principal wasn't allowed to alter it that much. Even though our bathroom sucked, I'm pretty sure he couldn't change it that much. So
the principal doesn't want to change anything in the bathroom, yet you said there's a water fountain in the bathroom. That's crazy. Or probably was the principal prior to yours, before it shut down?
Well, I don't know how long that's been there. What I mean is, you could change, you can add stuff to, walls, posters and stuff, but, I don't think you could change anything, architecturally.
Like renovation?
Well, I mean, sure, you can change, a few things, but I don't think you could change generally what the building is like.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Because I know my sister goes high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was built in 1890, over a century ago, yeah. So, the old-fashioned architecture of the building is still there, but obviously on the inside, the indoors were kind of renovated to fit into the modern-day world.
Yeah, they probably also just had a good budget, because my school only didn't most of the time.
Yeah, because oh wait, whoops!
Yes. Yeah, and now nothing's in that school building, I don't think.
Yeah.
Anybody uses it now.
I don't know why are you making it sound like it's abandoned even though it's been shut down for a few months. Half a year.
Well, the thing is, I'm saying, I don't think anybody uses the building for anything now,
So it's abandoned.
I mean, I'm sure it's kept up to date because it's historical and stuff, so they probably manage the building, but they don't,
I wonder Oh.
have it open. Probably.
I wonder if people can manage to sneak in.
Why would they want to sneak?
Probably for a video because they want views on YouTube.
Oh, so
I do
by
it-
someone you mean you?
Why me? Me out of everyone in our town.
Because you're the one who instantly got views and stuff.
I'm pretty sure there are YouTubers in our town who want views. Obviously not famous, obviously, but
What if there was somebody famous and we just didn't know they lived?
well.
I'm sure there has to be maybe at least one.
Or imagine if someone at who went to our school becomes famous someday.
Probably statistically somebody has to be, but
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I know
Wild.
I know my dad went to college with a sort of famous author.
Oh, who?
His name's Sherman Alexie.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Never mind.
Yeah, it's fine. That's why I said sort of famous.
Sorta.
Oh yeah, want to know a fun fact? So I actually went to school with this girl who later became friends with a Viner. I actually forgot who the Viner was. I just know that she was like around a teenager at the time, and her dad is also a Viner. Was a Viner.
There's a dad Viner?
I actually forgot the name of the Viner since, you know, it shut down. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it's pretty interesting, you know. And one night I was just scrolling through my Vine, through Vine, and then I saw a Vine of the girl I went to school with, and I was like, hold on, she looked familiar. I was like, holy shit, oh my gosh, I was so blown away.
Yeah, that'd be shocking if I saw somebody from my school who was like really famous on TikTok, I guess you would say now.
Yeah, I know
That'd
Belle
be
Delphine and I'm Alex went to the same high school.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my friend, one time she met the actor who played Ginny Weasley.
Was she nice?
According to my friend, yeah, but she was like a whole lot more. According to my friend, she was a whole lot more stunning in real life, and her British accent was pretty much blowing her away, since it was like real life. You used to seeing it on the screen, but not in real life.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a normal word to say.
Have you had any friends who have met celebrities or have gone to school with celebrities? I kind of doubt, but
I wouldn't know. I don't think I asked people this question that much, so I wouldn't know.
but you have also met someone who has gone to school with the friend of a famous Viner.
I have?
Yeah, me.
You're famous?
No, I said I went to school with the friend of a famous Viner.
Well, I wasn't a school friend, technically, until like now.
No, the school friend is what I was talking about earlier.
No, I get that, but you said that I know somebody, and I'm like, okay.
You probably don't understand, but oh well. Anyway.
I do. You were saying that you knew the person who knows the person, and I know you, so technically, in a roundabout way, I do know them.
You get what I mean, right? Anyway, let's move on.
I do.
It's been 1 hour, 3 minutes, 29 seconds, now 30.
How do you feel about TikTok? Because it's different than Musically even. So
Yeah,
how do you feel about
TikTok's
it?
more popular, more crazier. I'm not entirely sure, really haven't used TikTok.
I think TikTok's a lot better than Musically.
Yeah, crazy, but in a kind of a good way. I know
It's
some...
funny sometimes.
You know how Mr. Beast used to create worst intros?
Yeah.
He also created a worst musicallys. And there's one where these two little girls, sisters, they were smoking. I'm not joking. It was honestly the most immature thing I've ever seen. How would their parents not know about it? Their parents not give a shit? But whatever.
Cigarette?
Huh?
Cigarette smoking?
Huh?
Smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, two little girls smoking on Musically.
I don't know. People just don't pay enough attention, I think, to their children, probably.
Yeah, it's not sad, honestly. Especially the parents who leave their kids home alone with phones so they can record a bad intro. I know kind of recently-ish I was watching Mr. Beast's worst intros. Except I have them downloaded. He deleted them all. There's some reposts somewhere, but I got most of them downloaded.
I think it's interesting how songs going viral on TikTok could get them a lot of success.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do you want to talk about? It's been an hour and 5 minutes.
I'm not sure.
I think you are ding dong.
Is this what you want to talk about?
I don't know, I just come up with something random.
I see that.
Plus, I'm hungry.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, starving, like that's why communism was invented, so you won't starve.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well that worked out for them.
I don't know what else to talk about. Do you want to end it here?
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this dumbass podcast, and hopefully you'll see Ashley in another episode. I plan to have her in more episodes. She doesn't know, but I'm gonna force her to.
Wow.
But yeah, she'll become a highlight and student sensation of the podcast.
Yay.
Anyway, I'll see y'all later.
See ya.